mighty kings of the diamond arriving. The lines of worshipers wrapping around the siding, running over the second basement, no time for sliding. The empire strikes back, the battle's been decided. A murderous row of giants, a herd of grown Goliaths. The curve is prone to flying, not even worth a slider. A power pack lineup with punch at all costs, swishing stadium seats with bombs, all hope is lost. Look at this grin while you crying in the field.
Hey guys, welcome to the lab. We are back with some more exclusive content Sundays with the Clink Room, joined by a good friend Aaron, aka actually I don't even know how to pronounce this. Is this Smartifice? What are we doing here?
Smartifice.
Smartifice. Okay, well, I've known you for a couple years and I've never known how to pronounce it, and that's a little bit embarrassing. But welcome, welcome to the lab. Thank you for joining me. Been a long time fan of yours. You are one of the inaugural members of Clink Vision, so we'll always be connected for that. But before that started, I've been a long fan of your work, so welcome.
Thank you, Leon. Yeah, Smartifice is my alias. It's funny. I remember back in like college, I was like setting up an email account, and I always just wanted some sort of name as like my alias, and I used Artifice for a long time, and then I kept using that everywhere, and then it would be taken on different services, and so I had to diversify, so I changed it to Smartifice. Yeah. Which I don't think anybody else has, hopefully. So
yeah, well, we're gonna be like the first generation that really had first dibs on emails, so I don't think I think now it's a little bit more difficult for kids growing up and stuff, but they'll never really be a part of that the first dibs process. But that's part of being a little bit older. But before we commence with the festivities, let's get to know you a little bit better. So I've prepared a couple questions for you. First things first is, how did you get your start how did you get first involved with the Clink Room, and what drew you to collaborate with them?
Well, thanks, Leon. Thanks for having me do this today. I just found the Clink Room back in the original, just happened to find it pretty much as it came out. Back then, earlier internet days, just checking sites, design, branding, sportswear, logo design sort of things, as I was interested in all things design. Just found, I don't even really know how I found the Clink Room, probably from like a blog post from something like UniWatch or one of those sort of earlier blog sites. So probably a link from that. Stories about team branding, and just found it right from the start, actually. So and then just been following it ever since.
Nice. Ruby Throats, that was one of the original like real heavy hitters out the gate for Clink Room 2.0. So I kind of always knew to keep an eye on you. I was like, okay, this guy's gonna be good. But Catalina Flying Fish is probably still, to me, to this day, probably it's got to be top 3, if not the best Clink Room 2.0 hat to come out. So something about that like iridescent wing and the little shadowing you guys pulled off. To me, that's pretty much a flawless hat. So I'm a huge fan.
Both of those were my two first production Clink 2.0 hats. And Ruby Throats was not even really in the official process. Like, Casey reached out kind of before 2.0 launched and was like, hey, I'm just trying to reach out to some of the original Clinkers, and if you got ideas, submit them. And it was probably in the first 6 or so.
Yeah.
And that was just that one was kind of just like early pandemic, and I was just thinking, like, what have I not seen on a hat? And that's always kind of still my inspiration in starting something, is, have I not seen something on a hat before? So that was my first 2.0 design. And Catalina Flying Fish, as Clink started getting the ball rolling, I had a couple other submissions in between, but that one just kind of was a strike of inspiration, like with the like color effect, how that kind of gives off that transparent see-through. So it was just kind of a strike of inspiration, which is kind of lucky.
Yeah, I think most people kind of take for granted like where Clink Room sits now. It's like it's such a constant. Like, okay, we're gonna get Monday morning crits, and then we're gonna get the 6 hats for pre-order for the most part. I think 95% of the weeks that's how it goes. Now they're pretty much mixing in drops almost every Tuesday, whether it's a Deadstock Drop or a new colorway, fresh colorway. But when it first came back, I remember just the excitement. I think they had been very rarely active on Instagram. Probably had like 5K followers, and now they've ballooned to what they are now. So, yeah, kind of talk about that. Like, what was that like watching just this almost dragon get rebirthed and just come back to life?
Yeah, it came at the right time. That was really pandemic. Between, I think April was kind of the exodus, and then by like June, things were starting up with the Clink Room. So it's just came at the perfect time. I myself was furloughed from work, so I kind of had time on my hands to kind of dive into some of those, think about some new designs. And
yeah,
it was great to have it come back again. Love that it's here again. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think like for a lot of people, it was kind of like a great reset. Like we were just used to moving and working and staying busy and just moving along, and then like that thing that kind of just stopped time. I'm like, holy, like it's responsible just to stay home and do nothing. like that's like the quote unquote responsible adult, like stay home, ignore everyone, mind your business, and yeah, like that's just, you're doing your part. I'm like, okay, all right. But yeah, like it's like a different time, and now it's kind of changed, and will forever be different, I think. But like, yeah, it's cool how like that was a business that never it didn't exist for a long time, and you kind of didn't. We always wanted it to come back, but I think with Casey's schedule before, Casey and Jason and whatever, but it took like the pandemic, and it took the world stopping and team stopping, and everyone staying at home. It was like, Oli, like that was his reaction to it, and I'm grateful for that part of it. But yeah, we have something that's really cool now that came out of something that was really crazy. But Clink is kind of known for its unique approach to designing sports logos. So Catalina Flying Fish is kind of based off of a sports team loosely.
Right.
How do you kind of balance creating something like that's both like visually appealing and still representative of like a team's identity?
Well, I pretty much all my designs, I feel anyway, are sort of like mock teams, just because of my background and what I like. Just always being a fan of like team rebranding and like expansion teams, and I'm like was born at the exact right time of like expansion hockey and basketball and all that stuff. So I just
cool
love all that. Yeah, exactly. So that's ingrained in me as like a designer. With in this format, pretty much you have free reign to do whatever. So I love sports team logos, and I think my designs kind of are driven by that sort of what if this was like a team or expansion team or a minor league baseball team. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So like what would your like typical process be to like start a design, whether it's Clink Room or something? Like you start with the sketch, or are you
I think about it a lot. First I kind of have a mental picture of it. I kind of don't even do anything before that. So once I kind of have like the loose idea in mind, then I'll sketch. And then, I think the name sort of comes along after that. And I always, even in my professional design, I always kind of put color last, unless that's in the inspiration or the concept. So I kind of, that's always sort of my last step, is like colorizing. So
I'm really funny sometimes. I don't do it on purpose, but sometimes for me, name comes last, and I don't know, for whatever reason, that's like the hardest part. I know some people start with the name and get married to a theme, and then almost box themselves in too hard, because like now you're just married to this concept, or now you're just trying to force this theme.
Yeah,
I
I
try
kind of
to
leave it
keep
to the
me
end myself too, because I think it could be an addition, but I don't want to be painted into a corner with like a pun or something like that. So that kind of comes at the end, and once you have the design, you can always name it something else. Or
and for me, it's not every time, but I find that that's the overall theme. So for you, are there any particular like design elements or themes you find yourself drawn to when you're creating logos?
I mean, I like sports themes, and I even inspired by maybe more cartoonish and mascot kind of things. But really, as even like I kind of let the concept dictate everything in a way. I don't know if maybe you as an outsider can look at my designs, and if I don't know, maybe you can see trends or themes or patterns, but I don't know. I just always kind of approach everything as like its own concept.
Yeah. I think for you, your stuff, like you have about a dozen designs, so you don't have like the largest portfolio, but what I can say about what you have is like they all are completely different. They almost look like they're all made by different people. So that, I mean, that's also a skill, I think, because it shows your diversity as an artist. And I mean, like make your own luck, and your Lucky Pal are two in the same and whatever. But like even if you take Ruby Throats and 60s Ruby Throats, like those are two completely different hats.
But the faux back one I didn't illustrate, so that was done by CBS Inc. So that was just like inspired by Ruby Throats. Yeah, but which is, I mean, I'll admit to, as a hand illustrator, I'm not the best. Like I'm good in the computer. I work in thumbnail sketching, and I'll get it pretty good on paper. I'll get my my idea, and then sketch, and then refine my sketch, scan it into the computer, and then work it in Illustrator. So I'm not the most talented hand artist. Maybe that's what shows in my designs too. They're a little more mechanical.
Don't worry, I can't draw worth a lick. So to me, you're a pencil god. So don't worry about it. In terms of like incorporating like feedback or making revisions with your designs, do you ever like take what's put out there by the fans, or are you is it something where it's you just kind of want to leave it and let it sit, or are you constantly like are so for me, like I'll like my computer's full of like whatever XYZ hat A, XYZ hat B, B.1, B.2, like
my
are you one of
file
those?
system, it's crazy. But I think I don't really poll anybody. I really pretty much just get it to where I think I think it's done. And if it needs, I mean, I will ask other people for advice. You get kind of blind when you work at something so long that you kind of just don't even realize things anymore. So it's good to get an outside opinion. But I don't really use like social media or anything for that. Once I think it's ready, then I'll post or something.
Awesome.
But
You've done a couple collaborations in the past. Like, do you have any other like dream collaborations, or anyone else, any other artist that you would really like to work with in terms of Clink?
Anybody really. I've had some collaboration with Omar and Ephra. which is awesome. Because we've hung out a little bit too. Luckily, we all live pretty close together.
Awesome.
So any clinkers or even idea people, like I'm open to working on things like that. So but I there's I say I don't have hand skills, but like I have some ideas that I just haven't been able to work out, and I would love to like work with somebody who can really envision my idea
That'd be cool.
with
Yeah.
that hand skill. So I should reach out to some people for that.
I'm sure hopefully they see this and that'll lead to some stuff. But do you have any advice for like aspiring artists or designers looking to kind of break into the sports logo world design, or like collaborative platforms like the Clink Room?
Just do what you like, do it your way, do your research, and I guess take feedback. If people give you feedback to make things better, you can always refine. Or if you don't feel like that's if you want to stick to your guns and keep it, just trial and error. Just don't try a lot of things. Just keep working it.
Cool. Has your like style or approach kind of changed since working with the Clink Room?
I'd say I know I can already I know what the comments can be sometimes, avoiding thin things and not too much, stripping things out as much as you can to fit into the best looking embroidery. I know those guardrails, I think what works, what doesn't work. So I think when I get excited about a design, I try to fit a lot into a little space, and then you kind of have to reel back and condense things down to make them simple. So simple is usually always the best. So yeah, let the thread do the work for you. I think sometimes it's kind of hard to tell too. When sometimes you see a mock-up and it doesn't look that great. But when you get in there and you dissect it and you give it layers and direction and things like that, like that's when things really start to pop. But yeah, sometimes mock-ups just don't do things justice.
Yeah, totally. I think one thing that kind of gets overlooked is that everything is going to get touched up and redrawn by Casey before it gets submitted, and really like there's like terms you can use like puff embroidery or raised and whatever, but I almost feel like he's almost working in 4D because like some stuff is like half puff and then the other stuff is like really puff, and he's throwing lines in that I never thought you could get raised within another color. Like you can't replace that type of experience and that level.
They are one in a million because they innovated it through minor league baseball and just everything. There's no one better.
And so I'll look at it, even for me, like I've made a couple hats, but I'll get like a Clink Room hat in and I'll just be like, man, like how did he know to like even ask for that? just kind of geek out sometimes. Like,
because he's got it from pulling reference to something he's done for whatever 20 years of experience or more.
So hopefully we get a chance to catch up to him one day. But not to geek out on his stuff, but I mean he's really good at what he does, so that's a cool thing to have him open up his platform to work with all sorts of different artists. And it's almost like you're working with like a master.
Absolutely.
When I submit stuff to New Era, sometimes it's like you get what you get. All right, well, that was fun. But
he'll take it to so many levels up.
Yeah, exactly. So all right, cool. Thank you for doing that portion with me. Now we'll commence with the Sundays with the Clink Room festivities. So first things first is they had a Deadstock Drop earlier in the week. So what this means for people, normally the process is you get a pre-order, You wait for it to arrive, and then hat shows up. So these are typically leftovers from the pre-order. So you're not waiting the typical pre-order time. Now with that, they are priced a little bit more expensive because, you know, if anyone could just wait for the pre-order and just buy them later at no penalty, then, you know, it is what it is. But these are the pieces that are up for the Deadstock Drop. So we'll cover these ones. All right, so it looks like these 6 have dropped. The first 6. Do any of these hats kind of stand out to you?
Yeah, I do like the first one, Mojitos.
Yep.
Really cool. I've seen some pictures of that too. Kind of at a 3/4, and embroidery looks really good. I hope they have my size. I know these go quick on the Insta ships. You know, there's only so many left to get. So I really like that one. I left the colors on the bulldog here. That's kind of a unique color hat too, I think.
Yeah, it's like a Hawaiian floral tropical feel to it.
I don't know if I've seen a hat that color. So I love how that green and the like that magenta fuchsia comes off that one. I like those two. I like the Liberty Bell too. Even the Rat Pack's kind of interesting as like a grayscale version. That's kind of something unique too.
Yeah,
I like those. Yeah,
I think this is a really strong 6-pack, man. So the Mojitos one I wasn't totally into, but then I got FOMO when I saw Bert Kreischer wear it.
Yeah.
The Jason V, I mean, the Bulldogs, man, like he kills the Bulldogs. Like that's another one he knocked out of the park. I think though that's Mariners teal. It's just that we're not used to seeing it as a mono hat.
Full crown. Okay. Yeah.
Full crown, and we're not used to seeing it without the silver and with that like fuchsia color. So that is an excellent way to color a hat because it looks like something you normally wouldn't see, but it looks different enough that you're like, hey, like you said, like I don't think I've seen that color before, but yeah, I think he did a great job. But funny enough, the 2 I picked up from this 6-pack are actually Songbirds and Nighttails. So looking at all these 6 though, I may have made a mistake not grabbing Jason V's Bulldog, but these are all great hats. Liberty or Death is cool too because like I think that's a slogan of Pennsylvania, right?
Definitely an American. Give me liberty and give me death.
Yeah. So
that's metallic too, right? The bell.
It looks like it's at least
and it's pretty 3-dimensional too. So that one's got to be really nice.
Yeah, and then Nighttails, when you light it up in the dark, it looks like it's like he's holding a flashlight.
Is it like underlit?
Yeah. So his head like kind of makes like a cool image.
Okay.
Fitted Fanatic does cool work, man. So yeah, good job on those 6. And then let's see here. So we got Tape Walkers, Pumpkin, Terragos, Lacrosse Warrior, Internal Deities, and Night Panthers. Anything here that sticks out to you?
I love the Pumpkin. I'm gonna have to get that guy.
Yeah.
I'm a big Halloween fan, so hopefully there's some of those left. But just classic
completely
black.
Sold out.
It's gone. I'm sure. Yeah.
Completely gone. Anything thematic near Halloween that is Halloween, like good luck.
Yeah. And the one next to it too. I love that like swinging bird.
Yeah.
Kokoros, is that it? Just that green and blue on that like royal hat really jumps off. So even I like the all red deities.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really cool too. I love the cloud style in that background too, like kind of framing it all.
Yeah, he's got like that ambigram look. I know it's not a word.
You turn it over, right?
Is that what turn it over? It's a
like
Hanya mask,
image?
I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's neat. Yeah.
So that's cool. I don't know what the word is when you do that to an image, but for words is ambigram. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think the highlight here is Pumpkin.
Uh-huh.
Terragos is really cool, and Lacrosse Warriors. That one's really cool too because lacrosse was invented by indigenous people. It's one of the national sports for Canada, so it's our summer sport. So I think that's cool. It tells a story. I like anything that pays homage and kind of tells a story, and then it's like a conversation piece. Like it helps kind of
Mhm.
bring awareness to something. So I
Yeah,
like
it's
that one.
a good logo and design. I'm just not drawn to it because I just am really not familiar with lacrosse too much. So
Yeah, me either. To be
uh-huh.
honest, I've never really sat down and watched the game, but um, it's a cool. Yeah,
It'd be like
it's a
a
cool
pro
sport.
logo for all I know, you know.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But great job here, guys. Let's see the last. I think it's 4. Yeah, so these 4. What anything stick out to you? So we got a Kabuki Cat, Phantom Fencers, Rat Rod's Resurrection, and The Revenge.
Yeah, I like pretty much all of these. I love, oh man, the Phantom Fencers, is that what we're
Hmm.
calling it? Sorry. That's great. Man.
Yeah, that's a killer
I just
hat.
love that pose. He looks very like in space there. So that's a really cool like mascot kind of posture, which is great. Um, and the Rat Rods redo is really cool too.
Hmm.
Um, I like that. Like
Yeah,
that sort of rotten kind of horror-ish, I guess, or
yeah.
version of that original. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I like
Phantom.
those two the best, and then I like the kabuki. I don't have a lot of hats that are like that, like a gray, like a light gray crown and black. I have like some king's hats and such, but that's not very common in my collection. That like lighter gray combo.
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah, it's cool. Rat Rod. So the original is like a normal looking rat, and this one's kind of ghouled out, and
Mhm, cool. Yeah.
he's driving Rat Trap, like Hot
Mhm.
Rod, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think that one's kind of interesting. But yeah, for me, the highlight is Phantom Fencers, man.
Mhm.
40 is just so good at taking a subject and making it fit the canvas really well. Like someone who's fencing normally would be a really tall logo, so he's found a way to kind of compress it and still have it be cool, and just the details in the bamboo stick and
Yeah.
the mask, like he, spending some time with him and kind of learning his story and um kind of understanding why he does a lot of what he does. Like he's actually spent and lived in Japan for a number of years, so like that adds like an extra cool element too. So he treats all his stuff with like real high degree of respect. So anything he does is like, to me, is like so cool, man. He's
Yeah.
one of the
Definitely
best.
quality over quantity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
um
and just the way you can kind of see it, like pushing left, and kind of like the sword sticking out the right side. That's really cool.
yeah, and it's unique too because his shadows in the front, almost right. So like he just colored it really well.
Mhm.
Yeah, he made great choices. Yeah, so sorry to gush over him. He's one of my favorites, but yeah, keep what you're doing. But yeah, all these are great hats too. All right, so let's see. So if you're watching this today, these 6 hats that we're going to cover, the first 3 are here, but the 6 hats in total will end in pre-order uh, at midnight tonight. So you'll get a chance to capture them at this price, or you can try to get them at the instant ship price a couple months later and take your risk and whatever. But you save a little bit of money if you pre-order now. So the first 3: High Rollers, True Romance, and Nectar. I didn't plan it, but you're here to review another hummingbird hat. So what do you think
And
of
I
these
think I
3?
might have to get that on pre-order because obviously it's near and dear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm drawn to that one too. Which I think that whole throat is going to look really cool in thread too. How
Yeah.
that's going to be broken up. It's going to be interesting to see that stitched out. So who knows? I don't know if this will become like have like a shiny element to it or how that will be in thread, but I look forward to seeing that.
I really like the hat. I think it'll embroider cool. I think they'll pick some sort of like sheen or some sort of like really cool thread to use on that throat because that's what's really needed. My only my only drawback with this hat is the drip.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it didn't have the drip, it would be pretty much a flawless hat. I think this, like what he did here, is amazing. But yeah, the drip makes it a little less desirable. But I mean, like I'm talking about, like it takes it from a 9.5 to 10 down to like a 9. You know?
Right.
It's still a great hat. I still might pick it up, but because I think that embroidery, when you kind of turn it or whatever, it's gonna have some sort of sheen to it. He did a great job. You know, True Romance is cool. We seen the design kind of simplified a little bit. With the rose, I think the rose was a little bit different than the original one, and maybe the dagger was a little bit longer. So this one should fit the canvas a little bit better. I think that's cool. The imagery with the two skulls making it look like it's a heart, and the stab through the rose. I think that's really cool. American traditional is like a really rad style. I think it doesn't exactly follow the exact rules of American traditional, but I mean it's not a tattoo; it's a hat. So you know, I think that's a real cool one.
Yeah, the heart shape skulls in thread should come out nice too.
Yeah, that. And then high rollers, high level pun, great pun work. Jason V. He's got the dice or the die in almost like a weed cloud. So high rollers.
Yeah, it's cool. I didn't at first. I thought it was smoke all the way, but it kind of does have like a pot leaf kind of style.
Yeah.
Kind of look back from it a little bit, but good design.
Yeah, so hopefully it's incognito enough that it slips through. But yeah, that's a great one. All three winners, I think, for pre-order. And then moving forward, we got Sierra Gone's back, Dandelions by Rory, and Rebirth by COD and Italics. Any initial thoughts here?
They're all really cool. The first one, I wonder, is that a simulation of metallic, or is that just like a color choice, how the highlight is going down the center?
I'm not sure. It could be multiple color threads. It could be,
which would be awesome. Just having it sort of gradiate to a highlight. Cool design, great design. So should come out very nice. Even the middle, I kind of like this sort of embroidery nod. I think is kind of what they were going after. For it looked to me, it looks sort of like a textile embroidery already in the design, which should translate great onto a hat. And Rebirth too. I love the color palette. Sort of like minty green and pink on like a khaki. Should come out really well. So I like all of these too.
Yeah, it's like the dandelions is almost like an abstract image. He calls it dandelions, but you see it's like a tiger there, so it kind of throws me off a little bit with the name, but I'm sure there's good reason. I mean, he describes it as dandelions, like the flowers. So I'm not sure exactly how it all works out, but regardless, it's a cool design. I think it's illustrated really well. And then I'm right with you. Sierra Gone's is like interesting enough. I'm really interested to see how that kind of embroiders. It almost looks like a metal shield or a metal plaque or something.
Yeah,
he's got it there. I'm sure they're gonna kill it though with the final product.
Yeah, good grouper here.
Yeah. All right.
Super strong group too.
Yeah. Every week is getting better, man. I think like everyone's kind of pushing to stay up top or pushing to get into the pre-order session. So you're seeing a lot more collaborations now.
That's for sure. Yeah, which is really cool. Like people teaming up on designs is really cool.
Yeah,
like that.
I think it's really good for the culture. But before we go, are there any projects or things you could tease that potentially, without giving too much away? Where can people find you?
At Smartifice on Instagram. I'll occasionally throw some new designs up. Um, there'll be some things coming later in the year, early next year. We'll see what comes out, but yeah, I just been slacking. Just need to get some more designs going. Personally, I've got a long list of ideas that I just need to get around to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just need to get some more designs worked up. So hopefully I'll do that here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's good to like reconnect with you. Like I said earlier,
Yeah.
one of the Clink Vision 1.0 artists, and one of the guys that would really, to me, you're one of the guys that really helped get the ball rolling with Clink Room 2.0 early on. So great to have you back in the fold and to
Yeah,
see.
good to connect with you, man. It's been a while, but love what you do too, what you guys are doing for cap culture and everything. So
Thank you.
good to chat again, man.
All right. So for those who don't know, Aaron Bird, Smartifice, make sure you guys follow him for future. Make sure you guys are dropping a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. For Aaron and Leon, we out here, guys. Peace. Hey, guys. Welcome to the lab. Quick audible. We had originally filmed Monday Morning Crits with Aaron Bird, but we had a quick switch up on what hats are going to happen on Monday Morning Crits. So Paco has blessed us with his presence. He was available at the last minute. Shout out to you, Paco, for being flexible and
always
pulling me out of a jam. But these 10 hats will go to Monday Morning Crits. Are you ready?
Lock and load. Let's go.
All right. So these will all, so whatever makes it to pre-order this week, Friday, they will be up until for pre-order until October 29th. So October 29th is very close. Not a holiday, but a very big theme in hats. So if you guys put 2 and 2 together, you'll see. But without further ado, these 10 hats will be up for Monday Morning Crits, and we will talk about them. So first things first, Clinker 65 Bold. Will-o'-the-wisp.
Oh boy. I like it. I'd like to know the story behind it. I think the artwork is good. Outline might be just a tad bit thin. I think it's a good design. It's not derivative of anything we've seen, but it does remind me of a couple of hats like El Charro Negro, which is totally different design, but kind of like the same thing. This just takes the pumpkin head and puts it front and center. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I do like, and I hope it embroiders well, is if you look inside the mouth, you see the yellow in the middle surrounded by the orange, which really stands out as flames. Only critique that I would really have about the artwork itself would maybe make the mouth a little bit bigger so that the detail in that between the yellow and the orange is really shown. Leon, what do you think?
So for me, I struggle with the thin outline. So we got the black, almost brown, then we're moving into the yellow, and then we go back to the red. I just think that maybe it's one outline too many. If you keep the thickness of that same outline, but keep it one color, I think you still will achieve the same effect. I don't know if it needs an extra red outline. That being said, the illustration is really nice. I don't love the flame on the right eye. I think it's I don't know what it is. Maybe the flame and the orange is too close, so it kind of gets muddled a little bit. I love the flame of the right eye, but the left side with the little black, you see how it creates an eye almost.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe I would.
It's very asymmetrical.
Yeah, maybe I'd knock the flame to just add a little bit more randomness to it, a little bit. It's a nicely drawn image. There's nothing wrong specifically with it. I think at this point we're kind of nitpicking, but yeah, those are the things that I would just change to just kind of throw off the design a little bit to make it a little bit more appear more random. It's almost, yeah, like you said, too asymmetrical.
Right. I do like. I'm looking at the black lines
Mm-hmm.
on the face. I really like those. The mouth looks not symmetrical, but not like completely asymmetrical.
Yeah,
I also like the white highlights at the corners
yeah. I think
of
the
the
white
mouth.
highlights work. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we mix in some smoke to add a little bit more line breaks or kind of separate the flames a little bit. But it's almost like the flames is too close to the meat of the pumpkin almost. But
Mhm.
I think it's well done.
What do you think about the top of that with the double flame?
The double flame.
It looks like um, it it
Yeah,
looks like there's a flame in the front, but there's also like a flame in the back.
yeah. I'd probably almost turn that to smoke if anything.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Go gray.
go gray or just make smoke kind of around it maybe, or kind of whisk through the flame or something, just to kind of break it up. I think because right now you're just playing with too many colors that look like they're the same, kind of get washed
It's
together.
all gonna blend. It's all gonna blend together.
Yeah,
You've got to have between orange, yellow, and red. You've got to have like very distinct borders in them.
yeah, yeah. And that's why I think the black in it looks good, or that brown, like really,
Mhm.
yeah. So maybe just add a little bit there, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I think he did a great job.
Green UV on this one, I think.
Green or gray. Gray works too. Green or gray. It's almost like a Cleveland Browns style colored hat, right? Almost, but
Yep,
it works. I mean that.
I
I
like
mean,
it overall.
yeah, yeah. Frankie Stein,
I love
Eric
it.
the Saint. Um,
I really like this.
yeah, I'm liking the fact that the MEC boys are releasing more stuff solo. For a while, it would look like they were doing a lot of collabs, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want to put it
No,
out there, but you know they're putting a lot of their own art out there. So good
I
for them.
really like Eric's design. I like a lot. Like if you could give me sometimes Eric's design with Don's ideas,
Hmm.
I think you'd have some absolute winners. This looks great. This looks great. And frankly, I'm not a big I don't have any alcohol related hats or anything like this.
Yeah,
This is really good. I like this, and I like the foam that almost looks like the brain.
brains. Yeah,
Love it. Um, I really like the colors that he chose for the Stein, of course, with the greens and everything, but the colorway also works for me.
hmm,
I top to bottom, I think this is a really great hat. And I really do hope this one goes through.
I like the fact that it's not just a green blob of face. You know, like look at the different textures in it. It looks like
It's detailed.
face you can get like the different raised portions of it, make it almost you can almost feel the face. I like that part of it. I like
Uh-huh.
the brain part of it. I don't know if I love the brain part of it being yellow though. It makes sense because that's the foam of beer.
Of
I
the beer.
understand. Um, but I'd almost say just fuck it, just put the brains in there. But that
Uh-huh.
would take away from the Stein idea. So I don't know. Maybe make it a lighter color of yellow, and it's not
Oh,
just
that could
straight
be.
gold. But it's a funny like it's a good hat. All in all, I think it's a 9 out of 10.
I think this is great. And this is
Yeah.
one of those like you can look at it and you can see like if you know Clink and you know what Casey does, you can almost know how that's going to embroider.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's so good. The thick lines, the just the detail in it without being overly detailed. And that's the thing with new clinkers. It's you got to get that down. You got to be detailed without the fine details.
Hmm.
You got to find the middle ground.
How you feel about the colorway of the hat?
I like the colorway of the hat.
Mhm.
Personally, I do like the colorway of the hat. What I would possibly do, going back to the brain color, I'd put the brain color closer to what the brim is
Yep.
and call it a day. That whatever green that is, whatever green that isn't for the UV, at perfect. I really like everything about this hat, top to bottom. I wouldn't change much color wise, other than what you said. The brains, I would probably make it a little more pale, maybe add a little bit of translucent details to it.
I'm curious what color that crown is. I think it's like the new Everest green. I could be wrong. Like the one they used for the All-Star game this year, like a new color they added into the catalog. But it could be like an olive. Either way, I think it is an interesting colorway.
And if it is an olive, I hope it doesn't turn, because I mean, we've seen stuff with like maroon turning almost burgundy.
I still don't know the difference between maroon and burgundy, by the way.
Dude,
I don't think most people do.
No, and the thing is, like, I can tell you, like, the Phillies have a maroon color. So when I ordered Boogeyman Brotherly Love, that's kind of what I was expecting, and what I got was something darker, almost what Hat Club uses for the Merlots.
That's cardinal. So that, to me,
okay, so no, it would be darker than cardinal.
Maybe like
it was
Sedona red, almost.
No, this was like straight up burgundy. It is deep, but
so wait, to you, what color do the Phillies wear? To me, they wear maroon.
It is maroon.
You think they wear burgundy, or
no? That Brotherly Love. Just the Boogeyman Brotherly Love. It's burgundy, because I can go.
Yeah.
I can set up 5 Phillies hats in maroon.
Yeah,
that one's darker.
Okay.
So hopefully, if this is a pale olive, it works. If it's a darker olive, yeah.
I'm curious where he got the color from. It could be the Everest green.
If it's the Everest green, it's gonna look good.
Yeah.
So
okay. Good job, Eric. What lies beneath by the dude?
The dude might be close to Rookie of the Year at this point, especially in such a short time. I love his designs.
Yeah.
I really dig them. In fact, I will probably get the one that's in the shop, the alien abduction one.
Close Encounters, yeah.
Yeah, that one's great. But I like this just for I'm not a big fan of skulls. I know we've had this conversation offline.
Yeah.
If you're in the VFTV Discord, you'll see a lot about skulls, good and bad. I think this is well done. I like the colorway he chose. I like the almost like the ocean blue with the seafoam green.
Yep.
Is okay. So and just the top is what sets the asymmetrical.
Yes.
For me, everything is symmetrical up until you get to the top of the design where the moon is and everything. I think this is great. I wonder what the embroidery is going to look like as far as flat versus raised. But all in all, I like the dude's design. His very beach tiki whatever.
There's usually a beach involved or some type of scape, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I actually can't wait to own like one of his hats, because he's a guy that figured out the code.
Yeah.
When we gave him a lot of ideas for his funky monkey design, it was like after that, making that shift from like t-shirt design to hat design is totally different.
Oh yeah.
And he picked it up really quick. So props to him. What you think, Leon?
So I said his hat was close encounters. I apologize. It is coast encounters. So he had an A-level pun in that. So I'm a skull guy. So here's the thing that I think that holds this back potentially, not necessarily. So he's got a lot of negative space in here. So the negative space between the waves. Now easily he can make it so that, or Casey can do on the next level. He can make it so that that fill is like a tonal, so you still achieve it. Even the spaces in between the trees, so like the spaces in between that, it looks like it's negative space. So if he fills it in with a, I'm not necessarily saying use a different color or whatever, I'm just saying on the next stage fill that in, or the space between the hammock or whatever.
Right.
Casey's not known for running designs kind of like this without them being repeatable later, because this works on a blue. If you stick this on another hat, it's not going to work with the negative spaces included. So that's just one thing to keep in mind when you're designing.
So you're talking about like embroidering within the negative space then?
Yeah.
Okay. So I haven't seen Casey do that a lot. I mean, I did actually, when we got our Mercs hats in, I did notice it. So like in the mic and in the turntable,
there's fill.
Yeah.
See, that's Casey looking in the future. To me, that's just one thing, kind of talking to him a little bit more. That's one thing he'll plan for in the future. He very rarely will leave a space negative. So he'll make it so that that can be a color flip later. Because if you say you want to put this on a black hat, right? Or like a brighter color hat, you would need to use the other spaces in that are now negative,
right,
with something else. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're right, because you can't put that on like a red hat. You can't put that on a black. It just doesn't look right. So yeah, embroidery within the negative space would definitely work on this.
That's just something a little bit more nerdy for the clinkers out there to kind of just consider in the future. It doesn't necessarily, I'm not necessarily saying it takes away anything from this design. I'm just saying as someone who puts together hats, just keep that in mind, because it really works for this hat. Right? But if you change the color from anything from blue, it doesn't work. So it'll look like clouds, or like it just wouldn't make any sense. So all in all, I like this design. I like skulls. I'm kind of kicking myself I didn't do something like this. Didn't Win do a Reaper kind of on vacation a little bit? He was in a hammock, maybe. Now I'm thinking about it, he was like on vacation.
I think he did. Yeah, I think he did.
That's one that I'm upset at myself for, because I've told Tony, man, like, do the Reaper on vacation, put him in a Hawaiian shirt, have him chill out. And then when I saw his, I was like, fuck, that hat's like done forever now. Like,
oh no.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, we just blame Tony.
Yeah, fucking Tony. Come on, Tony. Let's see what's next. Ghoulish Gourd. So kind of similar to the first one in terms of colorway. Similar a little bit in terms of subject matter, but this one includes the floating hands, which we've seen a lot of lately, like the Mickey style hands, and the world's worst Halloween candy.
If you like candy corn, you're a sadist. Straight up. Enjoy your wax.
Yeah.
So
how do you feel about him missing fire?
I got a couple of thoughts on this one. First off, I love Jake's designs. Jake's designs are always top notch. This one looks, design element wise, looks simple to the one that's in the shop, but this one also works.
Yes.
I think like from an embroidery aspect, this is gonna look really freaking good. If they can nail down the candy corn,
does it need the corn though?
Does it need the corn?
Like if you were to just knock it, I'm not saying it's not needed. I'm just saying if it just was a jack-o'-lantern, is it good enough on its own merit? Because I think this is a beautifully drawn jack-o'-lantern.
I think the jack-o'-lantern's great, and you bring up a really good. I happen to dislike candy corn, the candy. Yeah. I happen to like it in this element on the
edible, which matches the actual candy corn. It's not edible either, but It looks cool with it. I'm not saying
Right.
it doesn't deserve to be there or whatever. I'm just curious if is it adding anything to the hat, I guess is my question.
I really like it. I think it actually does.
Okay.
I think you can take the candy corn out of it, but to me, like for some reason, the candy corn actually makes this better,
All right.
in my opinion. It adds something to it without going over the top. Now,
Does
if you took the candy
Okay,
corn
go
away, it's a great hat. Great hat too.
Yeah. Does the candy corn need to be flying a little bit more randomly?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would
Make some point a little bit differently, angle them a little bit, like it's almost too perfect.
yes. It's almost again, I mean, we use the term asymmetrical. But in this case, I'm going to say randomness.
Yeah.
Needs to be more random. So just flying all over. And one of the things, God, you know what I would really take out of the book? You remember Dionic's milk with the cereal Octo?
Vaguely. But keep talking about it while I pull it.
Okay, so it was Dionic's collab with Milk Toronto. He had an octopus with a chef's hat, basically eating a bowl of cereal, and it was like Cheerio or Fruity Loops.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the
yeah.
Fruity Loops were flying.
There's 4 of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they looked random. So what I would do is I would maybe not do like 4 and 4. I maybe do
2 and 3 or something.
2 and 3, exactly 2 and 3, and just random. And I really don't know like how far in the crown you can really get, but I kind of focus over in this area rather than within the logo. If that's something New Era doesn't balk at.
Yeah.
Nowadays, who knows? Oh, did I say that out loud? Yeah, I did. Okay.
Even like one, I mean, it's probably not possible, but even like one as the eyelet would be fucking killer. But I know that's not usually an option.
Oh, dude, you know the whole eyelet thing would have worked for, you remember Poison Darts by Sneaky Joe?
Yeah, because he had one, or he was aiming at one thing, right? Yeah.
Aiming at one thing. That would have been the hat that set it off.
Or it was the chameleon, wasn't it? There was a chameleon that had his yeah. Okay, that's the one you're talking about. Okay, Poison Dart Frog. Yeah, Poison Dart Frog.
That's it. Yeah. And you're right. Poison Dart Frog versus Phil's Poison Darts, the dart thrower one. Yeah.
Yeah, Sneaky Joe's, his had the tongue sticking out. And originally he mocked it up as one thing, but I think they had to make them all.
Yeah, New Era kiboshed it. So I think this is a great hat. Honestly, I think this is so far probably my number 2.
Okay.
Favorite one out of the 4 that we've seen so far.
I really like the drawing, man.
I do too. Jake does such good work, man. I like Jake's come a long way from his first like snake that he did.
Oh yeah.
Oh my Lord.
He submitted that a lot of times to get it in, and good on him.
Yeah, he doesn't quit. And now his style is it's a Jake hat.
Definitely.
Really good.
All right, let's move on.
All right.
What else we got here? Freak in the Sheets by Win Studio.
It's a ghost on a hat. I think it's
It doesn't scream freak to me.
No, it doesn't.
It's drawn well. It looks nice.
As Win usually does, draws well.
Yeah.
Is it going to embroider well? Yeah, it's going to embroider well. Is this going to be glow in the dark? I see some potential there for a legit like glow in the dark without it being over the top.
I think it says freak and glow in the dark.
Okay.
So that makes sense why it's freak in the sheets. I believe it just says FREK.
Okay.
Because this is screaming to be a hidden message in glow in the dark, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This got some potential to it. I mean, it
Mhm.
really does.
It-
This is definitely going to be in the vein of Good Kitties.
Yeah.
There's a lot he could do with it. I just, without seeing what else is it, this would be something I would say is incomplete.
Yeah, let me see. Did I get a glow in the dark version? No, I didn't. I'm sure there's something hidden in there.
There's got to be.
Maybe the mouth changes in the dark potentially. Yeah.
Maybe it's a naked outline of a person. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. I see some sort of wording around his chest area. So I think if I'm a betting man, and I'm not, but it says freak in there and it does something in the dark. But yeah, freak in the sheets. Good job.
I dig it.
Trick or treat.
Clinker. Oh, see, I like this, but I can tell you right now, the logo looks to me to be too narrow.
Yeah.
It needs a little bit of width to it. I love the Kong.
Yeah.
I love the Kong head as the bucket. I think that's fantastic. I like the Clink hat. I know people feel some sort of way about hats on hats, but
Yeah, I
nah,
don't really.
I as long as it's a good design, I'm all for it. This I do like this. I think the outline's good. The only thing that I really worry about from an embroidery perspective is the space in between the hands and the Kong head.
Mm-hmm.
What's in there? But I don't know what I would do with it.
Yeah.
I almost would like to see like maybe candy bars sticking up from it, but then that detracts from the hands or completely hides the hands. So I think it's a great drawing. I think it's a good design. I just would like to see the logo maybe proportioned a little bit differently. And that's it for me.
Yeah, there's one thing I think I would do. It's almost too balanced, and having the container in the middle almost limits how big your design could be, right? So
There it is.
The one thing you can do potentially is rework it a little bit. Maybe his hat's off to the side a little bit, and then on the other hand, he's holding it up with one hand. You know what I'm saying?
There we
So
go.
that way you still maintain that balance a little bit, and then you can have a wider pumpkin. You can get him holding up the thing, and then you can achieve like more stuff flying out of it potentially, and whatever. That requires a little bit of a rework, but that's kind of what I would do. I like the colorway. It's kind of like a San Diego-ish Padres type colorway.
Almost like a Phoenix Suns for us.
Okay. Oh yeah, well the inner. I'm talking about like the brown with the gold. It reminds me of the pads a little bit.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like orange, purple, like that screams Suns for sure. It's right there. Sierra's a killer.
Sierra always does good work, man. I
Yeah.
have no issues with anything Sierra. I've gotten to collab with him a couple of times, so
He's super easy, super chill. And fun fact about him, one of his favorite 1.0s is the trick or treat. So
oh word.
yeah. So it's cool to see him do this one.
Love it.
All right. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
How do you pronounce this? Polia
Polia del Diablo.
Polia del
Yeah, don't ask the guy named Paco to try to even pronounce this.
But Jake's back. So this is like a demonic moth panther head type thing.
What do you think? What you go first. What do you think?
First off, the colors are cool. So we're looking at either black or granite, graphite with like a teal. You get that fuchsia playing off it. I think the color play is really cool. I just don't know what the frick I'm looking at. I know it's some sort of moth.
Yep.
I know we got devil horns.
This whole design is fire.
Do you like it?
I love.
So you're a fan of the asymmetrical stuff?
I am.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, like the first time that I saw this type of design was Sarah Sexton's moth.
Okay.
And I grabbed that immediately because I'm like, oh, this is going to embroider so well. And I was dead right. This has the potential to be like an absolutely stunning looking hat. The first thing you mentioned was the colors. That's what really attracts me to this design, are the colors. I think it's a great looking hat. I think it's a great looking drawing. I don't have anything bad that I can really say about it. It's this one would be for me. I would get this easily.
I'm trying to decide if I like it or not. I think it's cool. I think it's drawn well. I just don't know what I'm looking at specifically. So it's like a moth, but then he's adding on to it.
And that's the part that would be the only part, like you said, from me too. Like what exactly is it based off of? Like I would like to know that. So I'll have to go back on IG and go through some stuff and see.
Yeah, it might be the moth looks like a certain thing, or I don't know, but it's a cool design. There's nothing wrong aesthetically. I'm just a little bit confused at what I'm looking at. I mean,
right.
I could be totally off, and it could be something that's super popular. I'm just not familiar with it, but I think it's drawn real well though.
I think from a drawing aspect and a color aspect, Jake nailed this top to bottom.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, what we got next? Witch's Brew.
Oh boy!
So Gons is back. So he's got the witch with the little background. She's got a little beer for you.
I'm not a big fan of witches.
Yeah, me either.
This hat goes though. I'm gonna say that right now. This
you got the real like pickle nose, all warty and stuff. Like it's drawn well.
It is. And of course, I mean, I don't think I've seen a bad I don't know what you call those where you've got the picture with the landscape in the background. I haven't seen a bad one of those yet. That Clink's done. This is going to be, if this goes through, it's going to be the fact that it embroiders very well. And it's going to look really good in hand. The only thing that I see is in the background, and that is the orange with the yellow and the detail. No, I don't want to say the detail. I'm going to say more like the line work with the tree and the fence. I don't know how that's all going to turn out, but I mean,
they got to run that flat, I would assume.
Oh, it would have to be flat. Yeah. I mean, we've seen raised, but on bigger logos. This would have to be completely flat. The witch and the beer can be raised, or at least elements of it. Like, let's just say her hat buckle,
the dark side of the hat too, probably.
Yep, dark side of the hat. Even the beer.
Yeah, or at least the bubbles at the minimum.
Absolutely,
the bubbles plus the 3 stripes down. Probably raise that. Give it a texture. I don't know if I love the thin outline.
No, I'm not a fan of the thin outline either. I would probably say thicken it up a little bit. If you thicken it up a little bit, you might. I don't know if you. What do you think? If you thicken up the outline, would you have to reproportion the background where the tree and the?
No, not necessarily. I think you just extend it out from the most outer part and make it a little bit thicker. I'm stuck on the hat. Do we reverse the colors, make the light side on the front and then the dark side on the other side? Does that make a little bit more sense? Because that would be the shadow side,
Right?
But I don't know if I'm nitpicking. Because there's a shadow in the hat. There's no shadow anywhere else. So there's no shadow in her face.
No.
I mean, there is kind of a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe
I'm overthinking.
Shadow. Do we? Well, okay. See, and from where the moon, this is going to be nitpicking. Like, I feel like Creaturezoid now. This is going to be nitpicky, but where that moon is, and having the shadow where it in the hat doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because the moon is the source of the light, so that would be the light part of the hat. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it would have. Well, looking at my screen, okay, it would have to shift to the other side. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Honestly, I mean, but we're nitpicking a tiny detail
exactly
of it. I'm not criticizing him as an artist. Or
no. And the average person isn't going to pick that up. No, they're going to be like, "Hey, that's a great hat," or "God, that's awful."
Yeah. Exactly.
No, they're not going to pick that up. Honestly, I think it's a really good hat. Is that a purple crown?
Yeah, it looks purple and green, kind of Riddlerish.
I dig it.
So now it looks like the dark color in that is like a navy blue. Would you just go black in that case?
I would just go black in that case.
Yeah. I think that's the only switch for me.
Yeah. I would just go black for that and wrap it up. Just maybe move the shadow to the other side. And that's it. That's really the only thing that I've got. I think the witch drawn is really well. Everything is drawn well. We're just nitpicking the shading part.
Now, would you make her have a crazier beard because she's a witch?
What, maybe like eyeballs floating in it, or
maybe she's holding up a mini cauldron or something, or holding
that'd be cool.
Holding up a ladle with some like funky shit in it, like an eye or something. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm not associating witches with beer. That's all. If it's unnecessary, like it's, a crazy ladle, maybe with a rat tail hanging out of it, an eyeball, maybe, I don't know, something.
Or I like the idea of a cauldron.
Like a mini cauldron? Yeah.
Like a mini cauldron. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. This is like random beer here.
Yeah.
Because like, I know eventually, probably, I don't know, New Era might eventually go back because like we saw like this kind of like ban on alcohol and other stuff, and they kind of loosened up a bit. Who knows how long that lasts for, right?
Yeah, I'm like, if this goes to the shop, you might as well get it while you can, because who knows what they're gonna, especially all the 420 designs. Who knows how long those get to stick around?
Yeah, and who knows if they can even come back and all that other stuff. So just don't. My thing is like if you can avoid it, don't give them any extra ammo. Unless you really need it. Unless you really need it for the design. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So
it's cream soda New Era.
Exactly. Candy bucket. Did you have one of these plastic? I definitely had one of these plastic.
I did.
Like this exact one. Definitely
did. Not only that, we had the McDonald's ones.
Okay.
Back in the day. Like back in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, McDonald's had some stuff. And
yeah. As you got older, you found that these were not effective candy holders, though, because they would fill up way too fast.
Oh, dude, no. It was just pillowcase after that, man.
Or garbage bag or something. As you get, that's something you learn as you get older. I mean, if you're like 4 or 5, you don't really care. Like, let's go.
Exactly.
Maybe even that is on the fringe of too old. If you're 3-ish, whatever, you don't care. You're just going out to to do it.
Right.
But, yeah, I like this a lot though.
I think the colors are great. I
He
think
didn't
the
use
colors pop.
any copywritten candy, so you don't got to worry about the license being, you don't have
And
to worry
candy
about any
corn,
like, legal issues.
by the way, candy corn doesn't deserve a license. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a license to kill. But it rears its ugly head. It is back, and he's also included black licorice. Looks like black licorice candy, which also falls under the terrible candy spectrum pyramid.
Oh God, my sister's father-in-law loves black licorice. We used to get it for him every Christmas, dude.
You're a fiend if you like black licorice.
Dude.
You should be tested. You should be tested.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
forget crack. Just go straight to black licorice.
It's like fennel tasting. Gross. But
I
the candy's drawn nice.
candy's drawn great.
Yeah, just as like as a fat ass though. These are not high level candies, but
No,
it fits the theme. Like I'm not arguing with the candy.
it does. Like for a Halloween hat,
Mhm.
this is as solid as it gets.
Yeah,
It's simple, it works, it's well drawn, it's gonna be well executed. Like there's gonna be a bunch of I'll bet you that candy's almost all raised.
yeah, or at least the like the white details or highlights at the least.
Yep. I think this hat's gonna look great. For what it's not overdone. That's the best thing that I can say is it is not overdone. It just sometimes simplicity wins.
And we were crying for random. He did a great job.
Oh,
Random candies.
he did.
Yeah,
He did. You've got the symmetry in the candy in the bucket itself.
Mhm.
And then whatever's on the bottom is just whatever's on the bottom, and it works.
He nailed it,
works
man.
well.
I will almost be offended if this doesn't make it to the show.
Dude,
This is really good, man.
Jay is gotta love Jay's work, man. Like he does such good work too. So props to Jay.
Only thing is, though, again, I gotta ask you: do you like this thin outline? It may work on this one because
yes, because it
if
works
you raise
on this.
if you raise the pumpkin, I'm okay with a little outline around it.
Right. No, I think it works for this.
Okay.
I really think in this case it works. And because in this case, I don't need an outline around the bucket. And I don't need an outline like around the candy. I just, for what it is, I think it's great.
Yeah, nailed it. Yeah, this is my early favorite. Let's see what else we got. Pumpkin spice. Ari Clifton is back.
Ah, all
Sounds
right.
like a Miami Dolphins almost. Teal and orange.
I like the play. I like the play on words. I like the pumpkin spice because it looks like a Carolina Reaper pepper. So
Okay.
it looks like it's a pepper in a pumpkin. Again, this is a simple design. Is it for me? Not necessarily, but it's good. It's really good. I don't have much bad to say about it, if any. I mean, we've seen hats with peppers on them before, and not a big thing. I don't have anything bad to say about the artwork. It's just the colors are not for me. But I don't have anything better than I don't have any other ideas right now because obviously this is my first time seeing it. So
yeah,
I can look at a colorway and go, yeah, I can't really pull that off, but it's a good design. I'm also not necessarily, the more that I look at it, I don't know. What do you think, Leon, about that outline in that colorway? Because it almost looks mint.
Yeah, it's like a mint sea foam or sea glass or something, beach
Mhm.
glass or whatever. This one's hard for me to judge because it almost looks like it's ready to go sticker wise. Like this could be a cool sticker, right? But when
Right.
you look at the design outside of it, to me, like the Miami Dolphinish colorway doesn't really make much sense.
Right.
If you're going pumpkin spice, I'd almost like want it to be like a cinnamon color, maybe a tan or some type of
Ooh.
beige brown, rust gray, maybe navy rust, something. I don't know what the significance of it, and it could be going over my head. I don't know, but yeah, even if Carolina Reaper, you can do Carolina colors potentially, whether it's Panthers or Tar Heels potentially. I don't know. It's a nice one. It doesn't scream pumpkin spice to me.
Mm-mm. But
Um,
I like your idea of like the tan, the beige.
yeah, I
I
almost feel like you got to operate in that
right,
thing
right.
because
At least for the crown.
yeah,
Um, actually, the more that I think about that, the more I would almost minus the pink go with what was Hat Club's Sandstorm?
camel. I
Camel.
think so.
I would use a camel on
Because it
this.
almost looks like this is like a death strawberry or a death apple, or
Yep.
it doesn't scream pumpkin to me. That's the only thing.
Right.
I mean,
Uh,
I understand it's made to look like a skull and all that, but like it doesn't scream. I don't know. Maybe it's the colors. Maybe it's like the negative green
right.
teal in it. It's not black. I don't know what it is.
I would mess with camel definitely for the crown.
Mhm.
So, and I would definitely lose I would change the color of the outline
Yeah.
first and foremost. Carolina Reapers are kind of that color,
Okay.
but I would definitely, I would take that mint sea foam, whatever that is, and I would definitely change it to maybe,
Like a silver or a gray, maybe potentially.
gray. I might even go yellow,
Okay.
or because I mean you've already got orange, like you've got a deep orange texture to it, something that would make it seem like hot. Um, I don't see. I'm with you. I don't see the pumpkin aspect of it per se. It's kind of there, but it's kind of not at the
Yeah.
same time. It just depends on how you reference it. Um, for a Halloween hat, no, but maybe it wasn't submitted to be a Halloween hat because the play on words of pumpkin spice. Of course, we are in basic season for pumpkin spice lattes
Yeah.
and UGG boots and anything else. That's for all you East Coasters because Arizona's still 98 freaking degrees. Yeah, other than color changes, there's not a whole lot I could see outside of like maybe a slight rework to make it look more round like a pumpkin. I think that's what we're missing in the description because we're looking for something pumpkin related,
Yeah.
and it's kind of there, but it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. It was almost like a tomato, or you got a
That's
little
the
bit of
first thing
pepper.
that I thought of when I looked at this was like, am I looking at a tomato or um yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
I
have
think
any
I think it's the name that takes us there. If we didn't see the name and we just saw a hat, we're like, oh, cool. It's like a shrunken head, or you know,
right.
like a skull thing or something. But like
r-
now that we're fishing for like what does he mean by pumpkin spice? Like then it like throws us off
Right.
a little bit.
Right.
But drawing wise, it's cool. I would never be able to draw something like this.
I from the little bit I've seen from Clift from Rex, is it Rick? I
It
guess
says
it's
Rick.
Rick.
Yeah, it says Rick.
Okay.
Maybe it's
I've
Rick
been
Professional.
impressed so far.
Yeah,
I think he's a great illustrator.
yeah. I'd say keep at it. I just feel like some of the elements might be a little bit off, and maybe he did submit multiple colorways. This is just the one they happened to pick, right? So
That could be too.
yeah, we can only go by what we see.
Right.
But all in all, I think it was a pretty strong week, being
I think we're good.
being a Halloween week, right? Not bad.
No.
Halloween hats sell, man. Like we saw
Oh,
a couple
they
hit
do.
the Insta ship, the drop, the Deadstock drops, and they flew. They're gone. So,
Gone. Because it's you've got them in time too.
I almost
remember
wish they just count it backwards and have it ready, but with the way New Era's and then the way sometimes things get submitted and takes time for the approvals, it's not ideal. But you know,
well, I mean, considering there was in our Mercs remix pack,
Mhm.
there were the first one we got was Crypto Dead Presidents. Then we got VHS Sunrise and Galactica. And then we got the last three, like all at once. But there was quite a space
Wait,
in
you
between.
remixed all of those?
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
We didn't draw them.
Yeah, you just remixed them.
We came. No, we didn't even do that. We came up with the music.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
So it was for the Mercs remix pack, and so we just said, okay, we are going to do tracks based off of the original design. It was basically the first thing we got to curate because we started with the music. Casey reached out to the designers and was like, okay, this is what we're doing for this hat. Let's redesign it. So Shadow Socks became Shadow Socks Attack. The Dead Prez Crypto came what it was with the glow in the dark elements. Of course, our word mark, word marks that was done by Casey himself. Vandal Kong.
Yep.
Because there was no way we were going to do a remix without a Vandal something in there. So Shadow Socks Attack, and then VHS Arizona Sunrise.
That all went over my head. I was not paying attention.
Really?
Yeah. Like I knew they were kind of remixes. I just didn't realize that you guys had a part to it. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, that's
pay better attention. That's on me.
We started out with a list of like 50 hats and had to whittle it down to 6 to 8, something like that. Yeah, it was fun, man. It was fun to do.
All right. Well, we've kept these people long enough. I thought this was going to be 20 minutes. I apologize. This is almost an hour. But that's what happens when you get with Paco sometimes. But I appreciate your flexibility. Again, you saved us. You saved the week.
We went more in depth than we normally did too, because when we do these, it's usually you, me, and Blaze. But no, I thought this was a great week. This is a great week to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big Halloween hat guy, but these are great.
Yeah, I think now with the feedback that some of the artists are able to get, whether here or with the other show, shout out to the Monday Evening Crits guys. It'd almost be dumb not to take feedback, even if you don't listen to us directly. There's feedback happening in the comments. There's feedback happening on the post.
There's feedback in the Discord.
Yeah, so
there's unless you're a couple of specific designers, you probably don't want to see what's in the Discord. But I'm just saying,
for the most part, it's never personal.
No, it is
like that.
No, it is.
If you're taking the time to say something, usually, I would say usually, not all the time. You usually want it because you want a better product. You want to see it come out better.
Something that Casey said, and I know it stuck with Don too, was he goes, sometimes you got to be willing to, I forget the phrase, but it was like almost like you got to be willing to kill your kids.
Yeah.
Like you have a design and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Because I've done that with beats. Like, oh my God, this is awesome. And you go send it out and Blaze will be like, nah, this ain't it, man. Like, what do you mean this ain't it? You just gotta be willing to take the criticism as as it comes.
Yeah, I think Casey's quote was, "You got to be willing to kill your babies."
That's what it
And
was.
he's not meaning it literal, not the literal sense.
Oh.
Of course, keep the baby.
Oh God, we got to put the disclaimer.
Yeah, but yeah, like
New era.
ideas.
We do not condone.
Yeah, we are pro babies.
Yes.
But yeah, like yeah, hopefully it's all good, and no one takes it to heart, and everyone's looking to get better. I mean, this is just a platform for the artists to show their work off and get a little bit more live reaction. And I've been working my best to get a good rotation of different artists on the show, so you guys can get to know them a little bit better, in different ways than we're used to. I mean, most people don't even like posting their face. A lot of times when you're seeing people on camera, like, holy crap, this is what you look like. Cool.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So just know, any clinkers out there, eventually I'm going to try to work through everybody. So just be ready for when you're called.
Yeah, get them all on. And Leon's right, man. This is not personal. This is, we want to help make the best Clink product we can.
Exactly. So let us know in the comments which of these are your favorite. Make sure you guys are following Paco and BP Mercenaries, because they make awesome music, and anytime you hear anything music related in terms of Clink on this platform, you're gonna see or you're gonna hear a BP Mercs production. You guys provide us the intro song to VFTV, so we're forever grateful for that. And until next time, we're out of here.
Peace, y'all.
We're laughing at your fans, putting a two-seam in your grill.
Who did you think you are? Who did you think you could be? We're invincible.